Everybody, it's Dr. Rimka, and I just finished texting a good friend of mine, and I wanted to tell you what I told her. So a lot of you have been watching some of the water fasting that I've been doing and posting about, and it is a tool that can be used as part of a multi-therapeutic approach to healing. And I'm actually, give me a second, because I'm going to pull up this on my computer so I can see people if you write in questions. I can see it better. I don't know if it's going to show me actually live on here. Yeah, I think it is. Cool. There it is. Awesome. Okay, so some of you have been following that. There's lots of videos about the water fasting stuff. So please go ahead and watch some of those things, or, all over my page have been talking about it. Okay, recap. Why would somebody water fast? Big kinds of reasons. There's a lot of physiological reset that happens. Number one, the reason they think about it is detoxification. And when we talk about detoxification, we're not just talking like general detox. I mean, we're talking, this can be serious and severe neurotoxins. What is that? Toxins that are in your nervous system. Heavy metals that are embedded within the nervous system, parasites or molds or viruses, Epstein-Barr viruses. So we have mercury, aluminum, copper, lead, right? Then you have things like mold, biotoxins, Lyme, various bacteria, pathogens related to that, Coxsackie virus and Epstein-Barr virus, things that are related with pandas, strep, that are related to that, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, that they get locked in and embedded and attached to different parts of your body, including your nervous system. And if there's heavy metals involved, they are really, really hard. So they cling to them, they bind, and it gets really extremely difficult to remove them. So people are trying to diet and detox and take things to kill them, and they still are not getting better. And it's often because of these other neurotoxins and heavy metals that are bound. They're so tight, they're embedded, and these processes alone are not going to pull them out. So your colonics and your enemas and your 21-day liver cleanse and your 21-day supplement cleanse, these are not going to pull these things out of the brain. They are not going to have a massive impact on something such as aluminum toxicity, lead toxicity, mercury toxicity, and how that's affecting someone's cognition and deterioration. So let me just say that. Okay, so people think about detoxification, and absolutely that's a part of it. And sometimes, though, you need to do a lot of other things before you start a water fast to prepare your body that it actually can detoxify. Sometimes those pathways are so broken, there's not a lot of detox happening yet, but there is hormone signaling resetting, and the big major thing people are trying to go for, but this only happens, primarily after day 3. When you hit day 4, we have something that increases. It's called autophagy. It's basically the normal body's process of a hard signal to say, go repair all the broken down parts of the car, of the body, of the cell, of all the membranes, every little organelle. If the tires are worn out, replace them. If the brakes aren't working, replace them. This is the time it does it. But that's on day 4 when you get to that water fast. It's not kicking in on day 2. So that's what you're really going for. That's the detox you want. You want all the broken parts of the cell to start being torn apart and removed. Then on day 5, you have this massive increase in stem cell production. And that's stem cells are the cells that go off and become anything. So they make all the new parts. They make all these new white blood cells. You can eliminate a significant part of the immune system by that day 3, 4 of the fast. All those white blood cells that have allergies and autoimmune responses, they die. That's called apoptosis. It actually, the signal to, it's another thing, autophagy and apoptosis, it increases and says, these things are worn out, hyperreactive, and out of control. They think pollen is a major life-threatening issue. They think mold is a major life-threatening issue. They're really confused, they're inflamed, they're ripping through the body way too much. So they die. And then on that 5th day, the stem cells increase. And if you feed a little bit on the 6th day, you give 500 calories to your body of soft, nutrient-rich food such as avocados and super steamed vegetables or something, and some fermented probiotic type cultured foods. You feed the bacteria in your gut, and you feed the stem cells, so they go off and they proliferate like crazy and they make more and more stuff. So that's the concept in a nutshell. So I have friends that were just doing 2.5 days, right? So I'm not saying that I was totally their inspiration, but I'm going to say I was their inspiration. Love you. So they're up in Detroit, and they did 2.5 days. And I said, why 2.5 days? I go, this is just all we had. And we just want to kind of get used to it. I'm like, that's great, right? So way to do it. And sometimes it's just the psychological idea of you can do this for 2 days. And they told me they were going to extend it with juice, like by doing juice fasting. I'm like, please don't do that. And let me tell you why. So juice fasting has its own issues, but especially in the middle of the winter and up in Detroit, and me knowing my friends, I'm like, you being colder is not a good idea. I said, so can we please switch it to bone broth? If you're going to extend it, you can extend your fast by basically consuming low calorie, like about 500 calories a day. It's a fasting mimicking diet, or a kind of an extended fasting mimicking starvation. So you're still feeding those stem cells about 500 calories, maybe if men about 800 calories. These are small women, so 500 is about what they would do. And you can get that in a form, much preferably would be bone broth. Much more minerals in that bone broth than they're going to get in vegetable juice. And by the way, nobody when they juice fast just does vegetable juice. You're always putting in some fruit to sweeten it a little bit, make it a little bit more palatable, because some of those things are just really nasty to drink, and I've done it many times. So they were going to obviously put in some fruit juice. So I'm like, we got way sugar. So what happens in their 2.5 days, if they were going to go 2.5 days, almost to 3 days, they probably were stepping in, getting into ketosis a little bit. If they were going to start juicing, they were going to eliminate ketosis, their body's ability to be burning fat as a primary fuel instead of sugar. They were going to start putting sugar right back in. So I'm like, please don't start flooding your body with a bunch of carbs and sugar. Start flooding your body with minerals, fat, and the protein, and some moderate protein that you get in the bone broth. So bone broth would give them no, carbs, no sugar, tons of minerals, nice amount of fat, and a lot of collagen, which they need to, one, heal the gut. One I know has some really bad gut problems. We're gonna heal the gut. We don't need those fruit juices because that's not gonna help it. Bone broth's gonna help the gut. They're both gonna feel a little bit warm, a little bit more satiety coming from that rather than being, chilly up there. And we were getting some collagen because that you're rebuilding your body. You need collagen to do that. And one of them has a collagen connective tissue disorder. So I'm like, please go with bone broth. So a way you can, if you're getting into it and you're like, I can do 2 days of water, I can do 3 days, and building into getting your system prepared to be like, how can I get to 5 days? Because you want to get to that magical day 4 where the autophagy and apoptosis increase, and then to that day 5 when the stem cells are increased. If you need to start really repairing tissue, and one of these people absolutely needs to be repairing a lot of broken down, a lot of damaged kind of protein. She and I have a lot of the same physiology where it's important. Like, we need to let our bodies go in, eat all the bad protein, collagen, muscle that's not working for us, that it's worn out, the foundation was laid. We want our body to remove that so we can lay down really healthy muscle tissue. So that's a way you can look at extending and working your way into going up to 5 days. And really a 5-day water fast is kind of more like a 7-day fast. Let me just say that, because you're going to do 5 days of only water. The 6th day, or the 5, you might do it that night, and the 5th night, it's like a very small meal, like 500 calories soft food. Then that next day is going to be 2 small meals, about 500 calories. So like 500 calories, maybe 1,000 calories. It's not a lot. So it's not until that 8th day that you're really eating, like relatively normal. And even then, I would say take it easy. I had some of my patients, I heard, broke it with a steak. I'm like, that wasn't how you were supposed to do it. So how you refeed is really critical to the success of your stem cells and to the success that you had in balancing the guts, the bugs in your gut. So if you're having any issues with yeast or SIBO or any other dysbiosis, this is how you can heal it. But you have to refeed properly. And so somebody had a SIBO issue and then they were refeeding with juicing after, you've just devastated your whole thing. You've just refed all of those SIBO and they're going to grow back. And it was not exactly a waste of time, but that was not a good idea. So we have to be smart. You have to know exactly your body and how you need to do it. So I sort of throw that out there because a lot of people, I have a lot of you did it with me. A lot of people I've never met that just follow the page, and I was so inspired by a few people in particular, some dads that, one guy's like, I lost 15 pounds. I'm going to do this every month, and this was amazing, and I did it in honor of I fasted for my children because I want to be a better father for them, and I want to be healthy for them, and it was really cool. And some of you tried it for a couple days and then gave up and was rough. Many of you did things we did not recommend. Some people we said, continue with your medications, and many people tried not to do it, and it was a disaster for them. Again, you want to get support if you have a serious illness. You need a clinician to help you with this. Just doing this on your own sometimes is definitely not the smart thing to do. And many of you, we might need to prepare you for 3 to 6 months with the right diet to start eliminating your sugar addiction. And we might need to start you on a detoxification cellular healing protocol that we're going to be starting to heal the cells and getting all your detox pathways working. So then when you do the actual fasting, you actually really are detoxifying. You're not just backing up all your systems. You're not just, your colon can't move it, your lymph is not moving, your kidneys are not processing. If that's the case, and your mitochondria is struggling so much because your cell membranes are so distorted, you're going to struggle. That 3rd, 4th, and 5th day will feel like crap. And if that's the case, we could do some prep work to make the whole thing a lot easier. So I just want to throw that out there. So if you can extend it. So those of you who want to try 2 days, 3 days, you can consider extending it into a fasting mimicking diet, very low calorie, 500 calories or so a day. So that's a lot of broth, maybe a well-cooked vegetable soup. You can even puree it, so it makes it so easy to digest. But stay away from fruit juices, stuff with sugar, so you can start to get yourself into a nutritional ketosis state. So you can start become a major fat burner. So you don't want to kind of sabotage. And I would add in things like fermented veggies. And for those of you who do dairy, you could have cultured cottage cheese and cultured no sugar added yogurt. So I don't normally do dairy, but I did try some cultured cottage cheese, and I did try some cultured yogurt for the first time in a while. And I reacted really poorly to the cottage cheese. Got very congested instantly. So I went ahead and tried the yogurt. Wasn't as same reaction. And I'm not going to continue to eat those foods, but I thought, well, let me see how my system works with dairy for the first time in a long time. And it was, very telling. So I learned a lot. I won't refeed with it next time. But I did get some of those bacteria in me that I probably haven't been exposed to in a while. So just some considerations. I am probably going to do another 5-day fast at the end of this month. I'm trying to time it with some social activities that I have, and actually my birthday, and I really don't care if I'm fasting on my birthday. I think I'm going to do the 30th or the 29th all the way to this, whatever, the 3rd or the 4th. So I'll keep you guys posted. If you want to join me, I'll do some videos on that and talk you through it along with me. So I haven't totally decided. I'm trying to see where I can fit it in my schedule. So I might just not be eating on my birthday, and everybody have to get along with it. We'll do something else than eating food. But I'll keep you know. So how does ketosis affect the duties of mitochondria cell? Big time. So mitochondria produce, there was a question about ketosis and mitochondria. The mitochondria prefer to be in a ketotic state. They're going to run through, the job of the mitochondria is basically to run electrons. It's really to run photons of light. That's what's actually happening, and people don't want to talk about that. A beam of light basically carries an electron and it tunnels it through this inner membrane. How many electrons can go through at a time determines how much energy, how much ATP the mitochondria can shoot off. And that's how your mitochondria works. It determines your entire health status. Pretty much every disease at this point is probably coming down to a mitochondrial basis. Mitochondrial disorders are at the heart of everything not working. The extreme things would be chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, autism, but they give all the energy to the cell. You cannot heal if they're not working. So sugar runs through a couple, you're going to get a couple ATP basically, but fat, you're going to get like 30 something, right? So it's a huge difference in how much energy you get if that photon of light is carrying electrons from sugar on a sugar bundle, or if it's going to be carrying it on a fat bundle. So if you're in ketosis, you're going to be running a lot more fat through the mitochondria, and your energy production is going to be through the roof. And so if your energy production is through the roof, your autophagy is going to be better, your apoptosis will be better, your stem cell production will be higher, your energy level will be higher, your mental clarity will be higher, your everything. You will need to sleep considerably less. So people who are in ketosis typically sleep significantly less. Suddenly people who needed 10 hours are sleeping 6.5. They think, oh, I was messing up my sleep. I'm like, well, are you tired? They're like, no, I feel great. Then get up. Right? You typically, this is why you see all these peak performers are like, I sleep 5.5 hours a day and I feel brilliant. So people often only need 5 to 6 hours, very common when they're in a constant state of ketosis. It's just faster and cleaner, and you reset a whole lot better. So that's just some tips on it, because, these are really, really, really smart women, and I think they were even watching my videos, and I'm like, why would you juice fast? Please don't do that. After you're doing this, just go to bone broth, because it's going to continue to heal your gut. It's going to get, it's much closer to what we were doing with the 2.5 days of water fasting. So there's my answer to you guys. That's why I want you to do it, to help extend the fast, keep you into ketosis, heal the gut, give you more collagen and more minerals, and a number of issues. So that's it. Look out for more stuff. But again, remember, it's just one tool that I've been using off and on for 20 some years, and I haven't been presenting it to clients as much as I probably should. So I'm excited to be bringing it back on board, letting people know about it, and for those who are ready, great. We'll talk about it. You don't have to be ready. If it scares the living daylights out of you, you don't have to do it. I have a friend here right now said, "Oh, I want to do it, but it's really scaring me." I'm like, then don't do it. If it's a goal you want to have, we can work up to it. Again, I've said it, an analogy, and the other thing, it's kind of like training for a marathon. If you have that as the goal, you don't have to do that in 6 weeks. You can train and run a marathon in 6 to 8 weeks if you want. However, some of you might take 6 months to do that. Some of you might take a year. You just need to plot a plan, and you're going to do things and have small benchmarks and goals along the way. Water fasting can be the same thing. You're going to say, one day I want to do 5 days. One day I want to do 10. Well, we can work together and come up with a game plan and get you ready and get you successful. And there you go. So anyway, have a good day, guys.